Hello there, my name is LaJuan Jones. Welcome to my dessert baking YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, please remember to hit the notification bell when you subscribe. Today we will make a favorite traditional southern dessert known as sour cream pound cake. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Before we begin, we will preheat the oven to 325 degrees. Our ingredients include 6 eggs, 2½ sticks of butter, 3 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of almond extract, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 cup of sour cream. Please remember to keep your eggs, butter, and sour cream at room temperature before mixing them into the cake. We're going to begin by creaming our butter and sugar together. And this is 2½ sticks of butter at room temperature. Do not melt the butter in the oven or microwave, please, because melted butter can make your cake tough. Go ahead, and I'm using a stand mixer. We're going to go ahead and we'll start by creaming that butter first. Next, I will add the sugar. I'm keeping this on low. I'm adding the sugar very slowly so that it won't fly everywhere. Again, this is 3 cups of pure granulated sugar. Now we want to cream the butter and sugar together until you don't hear any of the sugar crystals anymore. That's usually about 4 to 5 minutes. The butter and sugar have creamed together about 4 to 5 minutes. Every now and then, kind of brush down with a spatula the sides of the bowl just to make sure everything is getting mixed together well. That looks pretty well. And now we will add our eggs. Be sure to add only 1 egg at a time. As you add each egg, let it mix for about maybe 30 seconds or so before you add the next egg. And make sure all of your mix is getting incorporated by the beater. Finish incorporating my eggs, and I stop the mixer so I can brush down the sides of the mixing bowl to make sure everything is getting incorporated very well. Now let's mix a little bit longer before adding our next ingredients. Now we're going to add our vanilla flavor. First, I'm using pure vanilla extract. 2 teaspoons. And to that, we will add 1 teaspoon of almond extract. Oh, this gives the cake such a lovely taste. And smells wonderful. Before adding the flour into the cake, make sure you put your 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt into the flour. And I just poured the spoons in, and now I'm going to mix them in well. We're going to add the flour to our cake mix just a little bit at a time. And please note, after adding in the flour, be sure not to overbeat the cake, or that may make it come out a little tough. Now we're ready to add our flour. And again, we've mixed in our salt and baking soda into it. And we're going to add the flour just a little bit at a time. Remember, we're not going to overbeat it. We'll add maybe a third of the flour at a time. As you can see, I put a bowl guard on this so that as I add the flour, it doesn't just fly up everywhere. And I also turn my mixer down a little bit too. And we're adding the flour a little at a time just to make sure it mixes well. If you add too much, it can, at one time, it can be too heavy on the mixer. Now the last ingredient we add is our 8 ounces of sour cream. We're just going to fold that in. And again, it should be at room temperature, just like our eggs and butter. Just scrape it down, make sure we get our 8 ounces in. Turn it up a little bit. And now we're ready to put our cake into our baking pan. We're now ready to put our cake mix into a greased and floured bundt pan. I like to use Baker's Joy. This is a baking spray which includes the flour. I've used this a lot on occasion. It's great. The cake won't stick using this. So let's spray with this. Using a spatula, kind of spread the cake around evenly in the bundt pan. Okay. Our cake is now ready to be placed in the oven. Now every oven is different, but you should at least let the cake cook for a full hour before checking it. Opening the door of the oven too soon can make the cake fall. It may be ready in anywhere from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Here is our finished product. Doesn't it look scrumptious? Let the cake cool completely for at least 2 to 3 hours before taking it out of the pan. That way it won't break apart. Just a tip, make sure there are no sudden or loud movements around the kitchen area while the cake is in the oven. That way it won't fall. Well, I have enjoyed making this cake with you today. Come back. Next video we'll make another scrumptious cake. If you'd rather not make your own cake, feel free to contact me at LaJuan0523@gmail.com to make one for you. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave